before we begin, I will not be doing any spoilers. So when you think about watching this movie because you want to see the movie first, just telling you, no spoilers. I do want to say though, watching this video will save you a lot of time out of your life. So consider that. Okay, now let's begin. Alright guys, so let's talk about the film Hereditary. Typically, I go and tell you about this director and this actor and this actor. Honestly, I just want to get into it. First and foremost, this film is overly hyped. It is overly hyped. Honestly, you're hearing that it's the scariest movie since The Exorcist. I feel like that's a hard accolade to have. Because, back then, technology and, practical special effects, it was just such a unique film, and it still is a freaky film, but it's its own thing. So really, nothing will ever be as good as The Exorcist was, because that was a different time, and we were primitive in our movie-making abilities to produce real-life effects. So that really doesn't work. And then you also have this propaganda piece where it says, watching this movie is the equivalent of doing a 200-mile race or whatever. I'm going to throw up the image right here. So you should see it right here. Okay, now you see the image. Okay, so that being said, I don't know if I should get into the good or the bad. Screw it. I'll just keep forming it. Let's get into the good. Yeah, okay, we got the good, right? To my hand? That's gone? Good. Okay. Okay, so honestly, like the last 30 minutes is what was good. I'm not kidding. The last 30 minutes was one of those things where it was just... It was so intense for the last 30 minutes. I'll be honest, it's probably some of the best 30 minutes I've ever seen. I'm not going to be spoiler here, and I'll be sure to say that prior. It's very intense. It was so intense that it was nerve-wracking, honestly. And it was probably some of the most intense 30 minutes I've seen in a horror film. And I loved it. And it was to the point that I'm like, what am I watching? Oh my gosh, should I be watching this? Am I watching something like a snuff film? Whoa, hey, okay. It was great. But that's where the good ends. Bop, it's done. So, let's get into the bad. Right, I think the bad should be in my hand now. Okay? If it was perfect, it would have disappeared, but it doesn't, so. Anyway, the bad. Basically the entire film. You know how there's a slow burn horror, like you still have a slow build up and things slowly start progressing? This is like a snail pace horror. The movie is like, I think about over 2 hours. And I kid you not, about 85% of that film is building up to something that really doesn't pay off. I know I was praising the last 30 minutes a few seconds ago of the film. Yeah, I was, but it's not enough to justify that long of a runtime. I mean, honestly, I'll put up how long it is on the screen. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 hours and like 10 minutes or something, or 5 minutes, something like that. And I'll tell you one thing, you feel every minute tick by. You're watching this movie and I'm like, when is this gonna start paying off? When is it gonna start moving forward? When are we gonna get the whoosh that we never get? And honestly, it doesn't pay off. I mean, honestly, usually I make these videos longer, and this is probably the shortest one I've ever made, but let's just get to the point here, okay? Let's give it an end here. Let's just kill this thing like it should be, okay? First and foremost, I do want to say, this is made by the same company that made The Witch, with 2 W's, that made It Comes at Night, okay? So that should give you an idea what kind of movie you're getting into. It's very much an art house horror, and that's why this is a bad movie, because it focuses on it being pretty, and it focuses on really good sound design, but it doesn't focus on making a good scary movie! Honestly, I don't think it would be a scary movie if it wasn't for the last 30 minutes. I'm not even kidding. So that being said, let's finish this like I planned. Let's dig this grave and bury it, okay? So what are we going to give this bad boy? I'm going to give it the same rating I would have gave The Witch if I would have reviewed it. You put it in your queue when it falls on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon, and you watch it one day when you finish everything off your queue and you're like, dang, I'm really bored. That's when you watch this movie, okay? That's when you decide to see it. That's the only time. Because honestly, going to see it at a midnight showing to get a review out, which I'm grateful to everyone that watches it, is not worth sitting through. It wasn't worth watching it at 10 o'clock at night. Honestly, I drove home and I was exhausted. I'm like, I wasn't exhilarated. I was like, what did I just watch? This overhyped nonsense. That's all it is. It's art house horror that's overhyped with a really good solid 30 minutes. But you can get that same enjoyment out of watching High Tension. You want to see some crazy crap? Watch High Tension. I promise you, that whole movie's weird. Minus the ending, which makes it kind of all fall apart. But if you're in for like shock and awe and confusion, watch that. Or heck, watch Insidious. That whole bit of Insidious is shocking. Do not believe the hype. Do not see this movie in theaters. Go put it on your queue and watch it 2 years later. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry to disappoint you all.